Hello. Yes. So ನೀವು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು. So question screen ಮೇಲೆ ಐತಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ. I'll just jot on all the data. Kalyan Limited has provided you the following information for FY 21-22. So along with reading the question, I will start to jot on all the points. By working 60% of its capacity, the company was able to generate a sales of 72 lakhs. So sales revenue is 72 lakhs, but it was at a capacity of 60%. So zero point 0.6. Therefore, what was the total capacity? Sales at total capacity would be this divided by this, correct? Divided by 0.6. So 1.2 CR sales at total capacity. Yes. Next, cost sheet is given. Direct labor cost per unit is rupees 20. So if I take down direct labor, it is rupees 20 per unit. Direct material cost per unit was 40% of the selling price per unit. Selling price was 3 times of the direct labor cost. Okay, so selling price was given. Selling price is how much? It is 3 times of direct labor. So direct labor into 3, correct? And your material cost was, direct material was, your direct material cost was how much? 40% of the selling price. So your selling price into 40%. So if I take it as this into 40%, correct? 0.4. Then profit. What is the profit he is mentioning? Profit is said to be, profit margin was 25% on total cost. As you are aware, if on cost it is 25%, on sales it would be 20%. So this you had studied in your foundation. This into 20%. So your total cost is coming up to 56. Therefore, balancing figure would be your other direct expenses. Other direct expenses. It will be your balancing figure. Yes, selling price minus all other expenses minus profit will give you that. So 60 minus 12 minus labor and material. Minus labor and material. So that would give you total cost per unit. This is total cost per unit, profit and selling price. This was the story for 21-22. That was for the previous financial year. Coming to current financial year, what is he mentioning? So let me also jot down units produced. Units. So total sales revenue divided by selling price per units. Per unit will give me what? It will give me number of units sold. So they had sold 2 lakh, like total capacity was 2 lakh. Coming to FY 22-23. Coming to FY 22-23. What is the requirement? Production and sales will increase to 90% of its capacity. So therefore, total capacity was 2 lakh units, out of which now they are producing 90%. So 0.9, 1,80,000 units they are producing. Raw material price will remain unchanged, so it will be 24 per unit. Correct. Labor per unit will increase by 10%. So labor will increase by 10%. This into 1.1. 10% is nothing but 1.1. And direct expenses will increase by 50%. Fine. So this into 1.5. So this into 1.5. Increase by 50% is nothing but multiply by 1.5. So that will give me my total cost per unit. But he's also mentioning that the company wants to maintain the same profit on sales. So profit margin, it was 20% on sales price. So it means if it is 20% on sales, it is 25% of cost. So total cost into 0.25. Therefore, my selling price is nothing but total cost plus profit. So 65 per unit would be my selling price per unit. So next we'll proceed with the working capital statement. Yes, continuing with the same question. Now I'm moving towards working capital statement. So if I read out, I list on all the current assets and current liabilities, that will give me working capital. Cash balance is directly given. I jot it down from the question. It is 1,11,000. Yes. Next, coming to raw material stock. What is the policy? Raw materials will be in stock for 1 month. So what is that my total? So I'll just, this was cost per unit. I'll take it for total capacity. So cost sheet, I'm just doing it for total capacity of 1,80,000 units. So this is my total capacity. So what is my raw material stock? Total material consumed into 1 by 12, correct? 1 month is your raw material stock holding period. Finished goods will remain in stock for 2 months. Okay, so raw material stock, finished goods stock, I'll just take it down here. Stock of finished goods, stock of finished goods. So finished goods, as you are aware, it is valued at total cost. So what is my total cost here? I have my total cost, this into what is the period, stock holding period. So finished goods will remain in stock for 2 months, so into 2 by 12, correct? Coming to valuation of WIP, again, what is our standard assumption for WIP? Material is 100%, other expenses 50%. So my material 100% into what is the production cycle, it is 2 by 12. And for other expenses, it is, for other expenses, when I mean it is labor and other expenses, what is the standard assumption? It is 50%. So I'll just take this into this, into 50%, sorry, into 50% into 2 by 12. So other expenses valued at 50% and this. Therefore, what is my total WIP valuation? WIP valuation is 11,40,000. So coming to debtors, what is their policy? So debtors, as you know, it is valued at total cost, but the institute in this particular question has valued debtors on sales. So just to tally my answer with the institute, I'm also doing the same, which is incorrect. So out of my total sales, 50% is for 2 months credit period, so into 2 by 12. So again, for B, it is out of my total sales into 30% into 3 by 12. So for zone 3, it is completely cash sale. So what is my total of debtors? My total of debtors is 18,52,500. Correct? This into 50% into 2 by 12. So this total cost into 30% into 3 by 12. So this is my debtors valuation. So this will give me my total current assets. So coming to current liabilities total, only there is creditors 2 months. As you know, creditors will come on total credit purchases, and if I do purchases for three things, one is purchases, raw material purchases for consumption, and one is raw material I need to have it in my stock, and the third thing which the institute has not done, it has not considered WIP raw material, whereas ideally we should consider. So currently I'm not considering, just to keep in line with the institute answer. So I'm not considering raw material consumed, like raw material which has been consumed for WIP. So total material consumed. In this, I have to reduce my opening stock. I don't have opening stock. Let me prepare a small working note for opening stock of raw materials. How do I get that? So opening stock would be total raw material for the first year. So how will I get that? Material cost per unit into number of units which they had produced then was how much? 2 lakh into 60%, correct? So 2 lakh into 60%. 2 lakh into 60%. So this is what they had produced, but that was for the entire year. Now I need it only for 1 by 12. So this is my opening stock. So consumption plus closing stock minus opening stock will give me total purchases for the year. So this is my total purchases, but out of my total purchases, the credit period is only 2 months. So into 2 by 12, into 2 divided by 12. So that is my current liability. That's the only current liability in the question. So current assets minus current liabilities will give you working capital. This is my working capital. I hope the question is very clear. And maximum permissible bank finance, I'm not solving it here. It is very easy. You know the formula.